Hello, welcome back to Retropical podcast. Just hanging out, talking, and sharing about things we'd like to talk and share about. Oh my god, I'm just losing my mind tonight. Yeah, you're with Shannon and Leonard. Finally, yay again.
Hey, I'm back.
Um, how are
At
you,
least for this
Leonard?
week.
Yeah, cause like I said from the previous, well, I think I posted it this week because I was like too
Uh-huh.
lazy and too busy to post it. But you went out right farming with your family. So
Yes.
yeah, just a quick, how was it? How was the farming? Did everything go well? Did you puke and get like car sick, just like you said
I
you
didn't
would?
get car sick. I didn't get car sick going up, but I got car sick going down.
Down. Oh,
Yeah.
that's weird. Usually people get car sick going up.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. That's why I had I was preparing like for the worst when I went up. I even like took what is it, Dramamine, the anti
Right, right.
sickness pill or medicine.
Yep, yep.
And going up was no problem. I had like zero problem. I was awake the whole time as well. I was like completely aware of what was going on, whether we
Oh,
were
so it's
going
because
to
of
yeah.
the
So
math.
going up, yeah, going up
Uh-huh.
was no problem. Going down,
Uh-huh.
however, felt like dying.
And
I
but you
felt
had meds or you didn't have meds
yeah,
as
I had
well.
meds. I had
Oh,
meds.
that's weird.
Yeah, but it
That's really
felt like I
weird.
was dying when I went down. I felt like my stomach was about to explode. My head
I
was
thought
like all over the place.
I thought for sure it's like going up. That's dizzy. That's weird. Mm. Well, okay, but did you like pick up like did any of your crops ripen? Is it? Oh my God, ripen,
Ripened.
ripen,
We
ripen.
had
Yeah,
so the one I can definitely mention is the bananas and papayas. We ate most of that at
yeah.
the mountain itself. We didn't bring most of it down,
Damn, look at
except the bananas.
you. Yeah,
Except
yeah.
for the bananas, we got that. Like those were okay. Other than that, we were just like common collard greens, like vegetables, like lettuces, stuff like that. Yeah.
Truly living the best farming life. Oh
I
my
am
God.
living
So
the farming life in and out of game.
yes, yes. So so basically, like for today, like how do you feel from a scale of 1 to 10? How do you feel in general? Maybe today or this past few weeks. How have you been?
I was doing fine today until the goddamn nosebleed.
Right. So just an FYI, 2 hours before we wanted to do this, Leonard had himself a whole nosebleed situation while he was showering. Was it not?
Yeah, it was showing.
And yeah, that was.
Oh, I
And
had like
that
a terrible nosebleed like 2 hours ago to the point where like I'm not sure if we can do this podcast.
right. And that was also around the time where I told you, dude, we might have to like do something about this because I also have work after the podcast as well, and I have deadlines coming out, which is like unprecedented because I thought I was going to be free by tonight. Apparently not.
uh,
Yeah. So yeah, I guess from a scale to 1 to 10, I would make myself as like a five, 4 or 5 right now. What about you?
I think about the same. I think I was doing really great
Four.
this freaking like morning till afternoon, and
Man, yeah,
then
I was almost a 7 today because I thought like, oh, my proposal work is done. I'm done. I can just relax. Nope. And then with
freaking out
you, it's like the whole war zone situation in your
in the
in your
bathroom.
toilet. Yeah, in your bathroom.
I felt I was trapped too, because the thing is that I was thinking like the moment I leave the bathroom, I'm gonna start bleeding all over the floor up to my bath, like
Yeah, that's what I
when I
thought
go to my
too.
bedroom.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I was like,
What I
man, I
thought
do
too.
not want to leave the bathroom right now. I'm just gonna freaking wash all the blood that I produced in the past like
Yeah.
2 or 3 minutes. Yeah.
Just a heads up though, if you do have like a sudden like gush of blood or like bleeding coming out again, you have to let me know. Don't just keep the podcast going while your nose is like freaking dying, you
I
know?
mean, I think I should be fine now.
Okay.
Like I told my mom to like check like like, my nose with like the lights and everything.
Oh, okay.
She said it's completely dried up to the point where like cause like I said before, like after eating I still had the
Yep, yep,
like I had tissue still plugged into my nose and everything.
yep, yep.
After that, it pretty much like completely cleaned out and dried up, so it should be fine.
Oh, okay. That's
Mhm.
good. That's good. Well, let's just hope you don't sneeze, because you know what happens if that happens.
Oh my God, dude, don't jinx it. I mean,
Okay.
I had like, because the thing is, I left out to Pantai Nakapok to
Right,
pick.
right.
I went to
Mm-hmm.
pick for a while for a walk, and during the entire trip in the car, when I was like going there, I kept
Yep.
sneezing nonstop.
Oh, maybe that's why in a way. Maybe like
I don't
it's too much
know, like
food.
like I usually sneeze a lot anyway, but
Yeah,
like this time around, it's the only time where it actually resulted into like to a nosebleed. So I don't know.
that's really weird. Well, yeah, I hope I hope you're safe for the next few minutes,
Few
an
minutes,
hour that
an
you're okay.
hour
Yep.
ish. Yep.
Yep. All right. So I guess before we start with our topic today, just a quick shout out to Tono. You remember Tono, right, Leonard?
Yeah, I remember Tono. Yeah.
Yeah, Tono and also Rin. So apparently I was talking to them a few nights ago, and then I mentioned the podcast, and then Tono was like, "I'm gonna check it out," and then she subbed to us, so it's like, "Hi Tono, how are you?" Also, Rin also listens to our podcast. I don't know if she's caught up to it, but she said she was listening to the K-pop one.
Uh-huh.
So she was like, "It's pretty good," and I'm like, "Thanks," even though I know it's pretty long, but like it was a fun thing
I
to
mean,
do with.
all of our podcast goes on
It's quite
forever.
long.
It's like really
Yeah,
ranty to some
yeah.
point.
David does not want to listen to it because he said it's too long. I'm sorry, my dude, but I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. Up to you. Yeah. We
Yeah.
just we just want to let it out there to the universe for anyone who wants to hear it, or for anyone who feels like they want to do their work and they want to zone out. There's our voice, somehow,
Yes.
someday.
Somehow.
Yeah.
And
So
at the
yeah,
end of the
that's
world, just our voice is the only thing that's left.
oh God, it just reminds me of Last of Us, and I just want to forget about that. So So yeah, hi Tono, hi Rin. I hope you guys are still listening to us up to this point. But now we're gonna move on to our topic today, which is about reboots. So this is a topic that I'm curating today. It's reboots, basically, reboots of shows. So we're not gonna really consider like maybe movies if we don't really have a lot of material to talk about. But we won't talk about, for example, maybe games or like songs, like reboots of songs there are, right, like remixes or whatever. We
Oh
don't
yeah,
have.
yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so we're strictly just going to talk about reboots of like shows or movies.
Hmm.
um and so basically the scope of what reboots, or at least to my definition, as to what I want to bring to the table today, is that reboots, they're the shows that I want to mention are the type of reboots that are not sequels or prequels, and they're literal reboots. So like basically any other form of shows or medias that uh, essentially the plot compared to the original ones literally has no major changes. Maybe they have slight changes, like maybe a change of character or a change of plot a bit, but overall the same feeling is applied.
Yeah.
So one of the main show that I was like, how do I make this an example? How can I like give an example to what I'm talking about? One of the main thing was that it's the one that I was talking to you about, Leonard, the other day to discuss about this topic. It's Meteor Garden.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's if you guys don't know, Meteor Garden is basically what started out as actually originally a Japanese manga. It came to like prominence when around 2004, when the Taiwanese media took it over as their own, like like what is it called, drama, right?
Yeah. And then they adapted it into like real, real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So if I'm not wrong, they actually had a manga for it, and then they actually have an anime for it. If I'm not wrong, a short like anime or a movie, short
Hmm.
movie, and then they have the live action series from the Taiwanese media called
Hmm.
Meteor Garden FC, right?
Yes.
Don't know if you guys. I don't know if any listeners know of FC. Maybe the Asian ones more. I don't know about the Western ones. But after FC came about, another reboot of this particular plot, which was Hana Yori Dango. So it's basically the Japanese live action took place
Oh
after.
no, Hana Yori Dango isn't that Boys Over Flower?
No,
No.
Boys Over Flower is the Korean version.
Wait.
So basically, Hana Yori Dango is actually
Mm-hmm.
the manga, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the original name. The
Oh,
manga is called
original
Hana
manga.
Yori Dango, and then
Uh-huh.
there's an anime for it, and then there's the Taiwanese live action drama for it, which is called
Okay.
Meteor Garden. But the
Uh,
story, the plot, the characters are all based on Hana Yori Dango.
oh, I did not
Yes.
know
Oh, you
this.
you do not know this?
Okay.
Oh,
I didn't know
okay. No
this. I
wonder.
did. The only okay, so I did. I'm aware that like Meteor Garden,
Mm.
right? Meteor Garden is uh originally like basically like adapted, right? It was adapted
Yes.
from
Yes.
something else. That I
Yeah.
am aware. That one I know. But
Oh,
the
okay.
the fact that it was like basically like I didn't know where it was adapted from. I just know it was adapted from something else. Like
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
whether it
okay.
was like a Japanese show or Japanese manga, I didn't know anything
Right.
about that.
So,
Um,
so, mm-hmm. Go
but
on.
I do know that like other than Meteor Garden, there's also like an insane amount of like
Mm-hmm.
adaptations. Because I googled this because you mentioned this last time regard like previously in the previous episode. So I
Yep,
started
yep.
googling it a little bit. I did know that they had so Hana Yori Dango, right? That was the Japanese one.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then you have the Koreans, South Koreans, Boys Over Flowers.
Voice over flower. Yep.
And then I found this up as well. Apparently, Indonesia has also one as well.
What the fuck? Really?
We have some, yeah, we have an adaptation of Hana Yori Dango, which is Siapa Takut Cinta or something. Siapa Takut Jatuh Cinta.
What year was it made? Holy shit, I didn't know about this one.
This
This one
was
is my first time.
made in 2018.
Oh my god.
It
Okay,
was
yeah,
made
that's why
2 years
I,
ago.
I probably skipped it because I didn't research anything beyond that.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause
Because you told me to
yeah,
like
yeah.
look out for it. So I was like reading, and I
Oh,
was like, wait,
so you didn't know that Meteor Garden FC was actually based on that?
no, I didn't. All I know, I only like did a really quick read over this. So I was like, I didn't read too
Oh,
much. Like I
okay.
didn't research it. All I know is
Maybe.
that all
Mm-hmm.
I know is that like Meteor Garden has some kind of connection with Boys Over Flower and Hana Yori Dango, and also there's like an Indonesian version of it. That's all I know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's basically right. It's just that
Mm.
I think maybe I'll just clarify. EFSA is basically the name of the four guys' group. That's what they call themselves, EFSA, because
Yes,
I think
F sure,
the
which is
yeah, because
F4.
yeah, because their group they were actually originally a like a boy band group, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they named themselves EFSA. So I think coincidentally when they were premiering for the Meteor Garden show, they decided to keep their group name just as EFSA gitu.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone knows EFSA as like EFSA Meteor Garden, you know.
Yeah,
That's
everyone
why.
knows them from that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like that this is for me, this is one of the prime example of what I mean as reboots because literally over the past few years, I think it
Huh?
spanned around from the original manga which is around the 98 or 97
Yeah.
until like you said the latest Indonesian version 2018. The story never changes. It's always the same. It's always
Yeah.
about this girl who's in a rich school, can't afford it, and then she picks a fight with the four like most influential boys in the campus because their parents are the richest and the ones that are holding the university or school.
Yeah.
So, so basically, yeah, that's basically it for the storyline for Hana Yuri Dango or Meteor Garden.
Mm.
It's basically that, but they keep rehashing it over and over again. There's no changes whatsoever. Oh, and I forgot to tell you. Basically, I'll just give you a timeline. Yeah. So first is the
Mhm.
manga,
Yes.
and then it's the anime. If I'm not wrong, there's an anime, and then it's the Taiwanese live action, right? After the Taiwanese live action, there's the
Mhm.
Japanese live action, right? Which
I'm looking at it right now. So
yeah.
okay, so apparently there's a movie. There was a
What movie?
Japanese movie.
Yeah. It's
So in 1995 there was a Japanese movie. I'm
animated,
googling
right?
like this is
Or
no no
or or
live action.
oh, okay, okay, yep.
Yeah. So this is based on like Wikipedia. So
Mm,
there's the original official Japanese movie, and
yep,
then the Taiwanese Meteor Garden, the live action
yep,
one.
yep. Then the
Uh
Japanese one, right?
no, and then Meteor Garden 2.
Yeah. That one we'll forget about that one.
We'll
Just
forget
go on,
about that.
move
Yeah, I
on.
mean Meteor
That was
Garden
a shit
2.
show. But
And
go on, yes.
then the official Hana Yori Dango, the Japanese one in
Yes, the Japanese
2005.
one, right. Then the Korean one.
And then yeah, and then there's like two sequels after that, Hana Yori Dango Returns and Hana
Yep,
Yori
yep,
Dango Final. And
yep,
then the South Korean one, which is Boys Over Flowers.
yep. And
And
then
then
there's a Chinese one.
there's also another one, the Chinese one, the
Yeah,
2018 one.
yeah.
Yes.
This is the one that I want to tell you. Like this is the latest one from what I know, other than the Indonesian one, which I don't think I
Uh-huh.
want to talk about that because I don't really want to know.
Okay.
But yeah, but good that Indonesia has kind of, I don't know, joined the franchise. I guess I don't know. I haven't watched it. Maybe I'll watch it in the future. But for the
Uh-huh.
Chinese one, yeah, it's essentially the same thing over and over again. Except maybe they added like new qualities of like they made it more modern, which is like they used phones now. They use more of phones, and then like their richness is more believable. Like it's more believable than at least the Taiwanese
Yeah, the
counterpart. Because when I was
Taiwanese one was
rewatching,
insane.
yeah, when I was rewatching it
The
again like a few months
things those
ago,
guys could do.
it's not like, trust me, the house was barren, there was nothing inside. And if I remember correctly, they said that for the first few episodes they were actually on a budget.
What, for the Taiwanese one?
Yeah, yeah. In the initial few episodes they were on a budget.
Oh, I wanna didn't
That's
know.
why that's why when I noticed it, it's like there was this one episode where they had like a boat party, right? And literally the boat party were just them. There weren't anyone else. There
No,
weren't
everyone
any extras.
else, because they had the same budget on like staff or some or actors.
Yeah, but to be fair, when I was a kid, I imagined it to have been crowded. Like I don't know why when I rewatched it again like a few months ago, I was like, wait a minute, these were literally just them. There were
There's
no
no one
there were
else.
no crowd. Yeah.
I
So
mean, I
yeah,
didn't
that
think
was,
about it that way. I didn't even think about the fact that they had like budget limitations. I just thought it was like an actual cool show. Yeah.
yeah, me too. That's why. But like I guess okay, going back, so I think we're steering off. It's like
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
after the podcast instead of a reboot podcast.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, essentially, my point made is that EFSA, or at least Meteor Garden or Hana Yori Dango, the franchise in itself, you can see that over the past few years, even though there were a lot of reboots on it, there's not anything that's changed as much. It's always just essentially the same thing, same character, same plot all over again, just different language, basically,
Yeah.
right?
In like video gaming terms, I'm gonna like they just basically a remaster, right? So basically, just like
Yeah, it's
a
basically how a remaster. Yep,
a
yep,
modernized
yep,
version
yep,
of that. Yeah.
yep. So and then in a comparison, another spectrum from that, other than, I mean, besides from that, these are the shows that I don't really want to talk about because these are not considered as reboots in
Okay.
my eyes. These are the shows that are basically, we know these shows before when we were kids, or we knew it since a long time ago, and then around a few years ago or recently they've been making like a, they call it a reboot, but it's not really a reboot because it's essentially like a sequel to the previous original plot or show. So if you don't know, have
Yes.
you heard of That's So Raven when you were a kid? Yeah, so recently there's actually a show called Raven's Home.
Raven's
So
Home.
yeah, it's on Disney. So it's basically a show about Raven, I think a few years later, like 10 or 15 or 20 years later, when she already has a kid.
Okay.
Particularly, she has two kids, and one of the kid is psychic, like her.
Like her.
Yeah. So basically, she appears in the show. Her best friend also appears, and then the old characters also appears. But it's not really a reboot because it's already a different storyline, right? It's not actually
That
the same
this
as
is
the
like
previous.
basically continuing from the
Yeah.
original story.
Yes. That's why I don't really consider this as a reboot. This is the same for a show called Boy Meets World. Do you know of it?
Always means. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, so there was this very, very popular show called Boy Meets World where like the main character, if I'm not wrong, his name is Eric, I think. I forgot. But it's basically like telling him about like his coming of age show and how he grew up and how he married like his best friend, or like basically his world. Like it shows how he grew up from like a kid, from an elementary school kid until he was a high schooler or something like that.
Okay. It's like a coming of age story,
Yeah, yep,
uh,
yep. And then Disney a few years ago actually made not remaster, a sequel on it, on his daughter, called Girl Meets World.
okay.
So basically, he becomes the father figure in that show,
Okay, yeah.
where,
So
and the
that's why
daughter becomes him.
you don't consider it as a.
Yeah, these ones I don't consider as reboots because for me, reboots, like I said, it has to be something that is, it's literally copying or at least like you said, remastering the original show or original plot or original characters. These ones are like if you see That's So Raven or Lizzie McGuire, I heard also are doing this. It's basically just a continuation of their storyline, right?
Wait, they're gonna touch Lizzie McGuire?
Yes, but I think it's on hiatus right now because the main creator actually left.
Oh, oof.
So yeah, I
Yikes.
researched on that. Yeah, because of creative differences, something like that. So I was like,
Okay.
okay. But yeah, that's my idea of like I'm not gonna talk about those because we can talk about that in a later episodes. This one really we're just gonna talk about like something like FSA, right? So another example that I wanted to discuss with you is Charmed. Have you heard of Charmed?
Um, it is the twins or something, if I remember
Oh
correctly.
no, no, no,
No?
no. Charmed. The one you're talking about, Twins, is actually Twitches.
Oh, Twitches, right. Charm
Twitches,
is
right?
which one?
Charm is basically like a live action series as
I know
well.
Charm is like also witch related. That's all I
Yes,
remember with Charm.
it's which related, but it's based on three sisters, Pooh,
Oh,
Piper, and Phoebe.
okay.
Basically, it was these three sisters who kind of like separated, like they fell apart, and then they got back together one day because of their grandma's funeral, and then they found out that like the house that they were staying, their grandma's house, they realized they were witches because like they have all these powers suddenly.
Okay.
And it's kind of like even though it's kind of like a, I don't really think it's a family show in a way because it's quite serious. Like there's a lot of like sex scenes, a lot of demonic scenes.
I think it's like almost. It reminds me a little bit like Buffy the Vampire Hunter. I think.
Yes, I was
Yeah,
about to tell you. Yeah, yeah. If you think of Buffy, Charm is usually in that same era
in
as
that
Buffy.
same era, or even to some degree like Sabrina.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I think
yeah,
I think it may have been after Buffy or before. I forgot, but it's around that era, lah. The early
yeah,
2000 where like witches were a thing, like
yeah.
a trend. So yeah,
Dude, why is
apparently
it a thing anyway? It's so weird. Now
I
that I
have
think about
no
it.
idea. But Charm was good and
Uh,
everything, but then they decided to make a reboot out of it. And it's in Netflix, I think, out on Netflix or something. But it's basically now they're replaced by like, I'm not sure. Take this with a grain of salt because I didn't watch it. Me personally, I'm more of a traditionalist. I prefer the original or at least the first few ones that arrived. I don't like the remakes usually.
hmm?
So this one for the new one, if I'm not wrong, they replaced it with like, if I'm not wrong, three black girls who were not even sisters.
From what I'm seeing right now, yes, that looks about right.
They're not sisters, right? If I'm not wrong. Like I don't understand why they erased that idea because Charm was the whole point of Charm was actually sister witches. So I don't get why they kind of erased that idea of like family witches.
Oh wait,
But
they are no no they are related, but I think like half-ish. It's like one of them is a half sister,
oh,
the other is a sister, and then the youngest.
oh, I
And they're
see.
all still
Okay.
sisters. Yeah, they're all still siblings. Apparently.
I see. Well, I don't know much about it, but I heard the reviews and it was they a lot of people said like why couldn't you just have not touched this show of ours? But I think if I'm not wrong, they might be leading. I think more or less they might be branching off in the future. So I don't know if they would ever be considered reboots. But it's just for me. If you share the same title as the previous work, like I would assume it's reboots, right?
It's like,
Yeah.
well, there's a, funnily enough thing is like the voice over flower and like Meteor Garden has like two different titles, but they're basically the same thing. Uh,
Yeah. 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 But the thing,
meanwhile,
huh?
Charmed. Meanwhile, shows like Charmed and what was it? Like
Which one? That's a
Raven.
reason. Yep.
That's Raven. Yeah, it's. I would expect to have some form of like uh to see the same familiar characters. I don't even mind if it's like different actors.
But oh,
Honestly,
you don't mind if it's different actors but
I
same
don't mind if
character?
it's different actors if the writing is good. If the writing
Oh,
is
I
good.
I mind. I mind.
O- Okay.
Because I think I lean more to the fact that like even if it's you mean in reboot, right? or
Yeah, in a
or
reboot.
You mean like that's or even like a sequel, or you mean like a whole entire reboot?
Reboot. I'm talking about just like an entire reboot, like with so the same
Oh,
exact story.
yeah, okay. If it's like if like you say, if the example is like Fs, then I mean like Meteor Garden, I don't mind if they completely like change the whole cast. Yes, but if it's like for example like That's So Raven, they made Raven someone else, then I'm like fuck no, that's weird.
Your
You
mind,
know?
it's in your mind. It's already like Raven is Raven, right? It's like
Right, right.
so just putting a different, completely different actor just completely gives you this feeling of like, what the fuck happened?
Exactly. But then compared to like Meteor Garden, it's like it's more of like franchise in a way, because in a way they're kind of segregated in their own like universe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, like if someone made a reboot of Raven, That's So Raven, just literally following the same thing over and over and again, but different cast, that would be weird. I wouldn't really like it. I don't know.
Huh.
That's my take. Yeah. For Charmed, I have not watched the new one yet, but I never plan to see, to be honest. So there's that.
Uh-huh.
And then another one is also, this one is just, I'm gonna talk about it briefly because I also have never watched it at all, but I noticed that there has been a lot of versions for it. It's called Anne with an E. Have you heard of it?
With an E? Is that the actual
Yeah.
title or N with
Yeah,
like
yeah. Anne with an E. It's
N?
basically it's basically a historical period drama of this girl who's like gingered hair, and then like people think she's ugly, but then she's very smart, like a Jane Eyre kind of story.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and then like yeah, but I've seen like a lot of versions on it. So I think if I'm not wrong, there's like a total of three versions. One in the 80s, I think, and another one in the early 2000, and then now is the recent one, which I think was around 3 years ago, if I'm not wrong. There
Oh
was also
dear.
an animation, Japanese animation on it, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, there's a Japanese animation. It's
Yeah, so hmm?
no, no, no. I'm looking through it right now. So, but yeah, so
Yeah.
there was one that's literally in the 1900s, not even 1980s or anything. It's just
Yeah.
1900s is the original book, and then somewhere along that time they also made a television version of it,
Yep.
and then uh,
They made
and
a
then
movie
there's
also,
yeah,
right?
they made a movie alongside of it, like a 44-minute one. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so like I said, for N with an E, I have never watched it before, so to me it's not really, I cannot really say anything about it, but this is one of the example as to what I mean by like reboots. Because like literally, if I'm not wrong, it's actually the same plot all over again, but just different cast. Which I think in my sense, it's like Meteor Garden is fine, because I feel like it doesn't. For me, I don't really see any. It's not a sequel, like I said. I guess I'm okay. I guess I admit I'm like you. Like I don't mind if it's a different set of cast, as long as it's not a continuation of the previous. As long as it's not a continuation of the previous show. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Cause what about like I mentioned before the podcast started, when we were discussing about the reboot, because there was one show called MacGyver, right? The
Mhm.
one I
Mhm.
mentioned.
Mhm.
So MacGyver was like a really old, like 1980s show, basically about this guy who's like really like he's just really smart. He's like a uh he basically can makeshift anything out of anything. So he can make makeshift a knife from like a toothbrush or some stupid shit like that. It's some
Alchemy is it or not?
not
No.
not not alchemy. Like he it's just actual like quote unquote in real life smarts. Like he can basically make like escape from
Oh.
dangerous situations with like
Yep.
the
Yep.
craziest tools, basically the most unexpected tools, right?
Mhm.
And this was the original show they had in 1990, like sorry, 1980s, like 1986 or 1985. I had to double check, but
Yep. Yep.
it's a really old show.
Yep.
Recently in like recently they've had
Mhm.
a reboot, like I think 3 years ago, 4 years ago, in
Mhm.
2016, right?
Mhm.
Where they basically rebooted him. Now the thing is that they've taken in someone with a similar like look, I guess.
Yep, yep.
right? Similar look, but he looks a lot more, what do you call it, like this almost like flirty, uh almost has this like really bad boy, flirty, genius looking type in this reboot. Meanwhile, in the original MacGyver in the 1980s one, he looks a little older. He looks like an actual, like, if you think about an agent, like a elite veteran agent, that's kind of what
Mm-hmm.
the image he looked like is. He was acted by a guy by Richard Dean Anderson, and this newest one was like Lucas Hill or something. I think this new one.
So you're just basically saying the new one feels more like a twink as
Yeah,
compared to the original one.
doing. I don't want to use that word, but yeah,
No,
okay.
no, that's exactly what I feel about the Meteor Garden franchise. Trust me. Starting from the Taiwanese boys
Yeah,
all the way to the now Chinese one, like you can tell the huge difference between like
they
the
keep
build.
making them younger. I think from what I noticed.
Yes,
Same
yes, and
thing
they
with
make them look
MacGyver.
skinnier.
Same thing with
Yeah,
MacGyver. They basically made like took an actor that's a lot younger, hoping. I'm guessing it's hoping to basically attract a more wider audience, maybe a younger audience.
but the plot and the characters are all the same. Is what you're saying essentially.
In the newest one, in the 2016 reboot,
Yep.
the 2016 reboot was basically like, from what I'm aware, like it's because I've only watched a few episodes of this, but from
Mm-hmm.
what I understand, this is like either an extension of, because the thing is that there's no chronological order in the MacGyver story slash universe, right? At
Oh,
least
okay.
at least for most of them, there are some that's like actually deals with a proper story.
Yep.
This one on the other hand is like I'm thinking it's happening like in the past because he looks younger, and it seems based on like the way he's acting, he's a little bit more like, what do you call it, like a lot more inexperienced, I suppose.
But are the plots the same? Like
No, 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 no.
also
Uh,
so it's kind of like a reboot, but it's more of like yeah, it's like remastered in a way, yeah.
yeah, because here's the thing, like, because compared to like let's say the That's So Raven one, That's So Raven
Yeah.
is like a continuation, right? You're continuing
Yes.
from like the original story.
Yes.
Meanwhile, with like the MacGyver one, MacGyver, the original MacGyver at least, the 1980s one,
Yep.
uh, there's not really a major, what do you call it, like a major overarching plot line, right?
Mm.
There's usually like, let's say, some kind of like like main big villain, but they're not really that big. Like they're not really that much of a focus. The big focus
Yeah.
are usually like the small, like the cool things that MacGyver uses to basically get out of like very like hairy
Sticky
situations,
situation. Yep.
basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they mostly focus on a lot of like uh social issues as well,
Mm-hmm.
where like I can't remember which episode exactly, but I do know they cover quite a bit of like social and political issues in, at least in the original one. I don't know much about the newer one. Um, but that was
Oh, okay.
basically it. So the thing is that even if it doesn't cover the same beat for beat like situations, in the
Yep.
case of the reboot, that's fine. You know.
I see. Yep. 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 Yeah.
So
So yeah, like you like so that means like what you said, the what I said, the reboots are not actually the same, right? It's not the exact like if I were to copy it, it's not like a what is it called? It's not an immediate copy paste of the plots of the previous ones, right? It's what you're saying.
yes,
Sorry?
yes. So basically, like the thing is that since there's no political, like actual overarching plot line,
Yeah.
in the case for this one, I think even though they had a different actor, it still works. Like the story still works overall.
Yeah. I think I get what you're saying, cause yeah, cause I guess the show was set out to be something that was they didn't have plot. It was just more of like kind of like one episode or maybe a few episode one situation, right? There's no like
Yes, 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 yes.
yeah, so I would think that that would make sense for that to happen. So are you saying that there's no like literally no plot being carried over to the reboot one, or maybe
No, I don't think so. No, from what I've watched, I've watched like I think half of
oh
season one. I
Oh.
don't notice any overarching plot lines. No, like
Well,
no broad over plot
is it
line.
in a way, is it like Doctor Who then in a way?
Yeah, actually, if you think about it, yeah, to some
Something like
degree,
Doctor Who, right?
something
But
like
I know,
Doctor Who.
yeah, I know that Doctor Who has a different aspect where it's like they kind of replace the Doctor, right?
Yeah,
But but what I'm saying is that essentially whatever they're getting into, it's more or less the same shit, you know, like it has the same formula, but it's just executed differently, is what you're saying, right?
yes.
I think that one was is okay. See, to me, like I don't think I have much like qualms about it if it goes down like that. Because in a way, it's like you're watching the same thing, but essentially it's just a branch off of a different plot or like a different situation that you've never experienced before. Because it's the same character, right? Like you said, just a different actor, but it's still essentially the same guy, right?
But like, here's like my problem with it is probably like the personality, because the new one
Mm.
almost feels like cocky personality wise. Not that the old MacGyver wasn't cocky, but like this one it was almost annoyingly so. So I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Yep, yep. I
Yeah,
think I get what you mean, but I think it also depends on the acting too. I'm gonna see, like, I mean, it depends on the actor as well how they execute it, right?
yeah.
Cause I don't know about you, but like I have tried. I haven't finished, but I have tried watching all uh Meteor Garden, Hana Yori Dango, Boys Over Flowers franchise, right?
Yeah, like the whole thing
And
basically, like from
yeah,
the Taiwanese. Okay.
I've tried. Okay. I've watched the Taiwanese. I've watched the Japanese. I've watched the Korean.
Huh?
I haven't watched the Chinese. I mean
The most recent one, the 2018
yeah, the
one.
mainland Chinese one. No, because I thought to myself, fuck no, I don't want to do this anymore.
Okay.
But essentially, it's all the same. It's like really just the same thing. You copy paste these people, and then the actors and the actresses are just the same. There's no difference.
Oh, okay.
I think, but I think the difference is, I guess, like there are slight difference compared to the acting. Like for example, I prefer the girls acting, the Taiwanese one, because I've watched the Japanese one, I've watched the Korean one, but the Taiwanese one, the girl has more like, I feel like she has more balls and more fierceness to her character than the compared to the others.
So thought like I think the Taiwanese one is just overall more realistic, because I did see, because you like I said, you told me to watch over it for a while, right?
Yeah,
Like, so I watched the Japanese one. I didn't read I didn't watch the Korean one nor the Chinese one either.
yeah.
But I think comparatively, the Taiwanese one felt a lot more like real, I guess.
I think yes, in terms of the acting between the relationships between the characters, I feel like it's more real and more genuine.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the plot, sometimes it doesn't make as much sense.
I
I would think that,
mean, the Taiwanese one, you mean?
yeah,
Yeah, I mean that one. I don't want to talk about like quote unquote realism.
yeah, because I tried watching like I mean I watched a few of the episodes a few months ago, right? And it was like all over the place. Like it was quite jumpy, and then the problem was like quite sudden. You know, like there wasn't any
There wasn't any
pacing.
build up. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was like. That's why I think in a way, the Japanese or even the South Korean one was the most like it stood out the most out of everyone because I feel like maybe in our generation that's more appealing as well, right? In terms of their looks, their costumes or whatever. But if they were to stay true to the Hana Yori Dango style, it would have been the Taiwanese one because the Taiwanese one was like rich boys who were like gangsters, you know,
all
literal
right, because they were
gangsters.
like, because I think the Japanese one was like some. They're supposed to be like these tough, like
Yeah,
almost like this overly rich, tough, like to the point where you can't touch them or something, right?
yes, but at the same time, they're also like the gangster type. So it's like they have like bods, you know, they're a bit bulky in a way,
Uh,
and then they had muscles at least, you know. But if you compare it to the Japanese and South Korean one, it's like, man, you guys are boys. What?
no, no, you guys are boys like that one.
I mean, I yeah, that was my impression. So that's why when Boys Over Flower first came out, I was like so annoyed because nobody around me thought for a second like, hey, isn't that like Meteor Garden? Because I remember I was like, what the fuck? The premise is exactly like Meteor Garden. What the hell? Yeah. So yeah. I guess yeah. Anne with an E, Charm, Afsa, and then I guess we can talk a bit about cartoons with reboots.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I've ever found like a cartoon that's like literal reboots, as in like they completely copy the same plot and then they just make it into a reboot. I don't think they have like a show like that. I'm not sure. The closest I can think
You
of
mean
is
like a
probably
direct copy paste? You mean like pasting
yeah,
the comments or anything? I don't think
yeah.
they can
Like,
ever do that.
but you know what I'm hoping? It's like this. It's like when they said that they were gonna do a Powerpuff Girl reboot or a Teen Titan reboot.
Uh huh.
I had hope for that. Like I had hope for them to actually kind of when they say reboot, it's like remaster. It's the same thing. They make it the same plot, or they change it a little bit, or they continue it, right? But then the reboot that we got was like,
I mean, from what I've heard, the Teen Titans one, it
yeah,
wasn't what we expected,
it
right?
definitely wasn't. I was
It
disappointed.
definitely wasn't.
Yep.
But I would. I'm pretty sure you're gonna hate me for this, but like, I
Yeah.
don't think it's that bad.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
I okay, I honestly I have to admit I also did watch some of the episodes when I was with when I came over to your guys' place like around a few years ago, right? We usually would just switch on the TV while we play or something like that, right?
Yes. Okay.
I've watched a bit of the episodes, and every time I look at it, I look at it with disdain. And I tried to understand it, and I guess like I kind of got over the whole phase of like, okay, it's not the one that I expected, but at least it's not too bad. It's quite kind of funny in a way, you know?
You mean yeah. Because I think here's the thing. I think the rebooted one,
Mm,
right? The rebooted like Teen Titan one
yeah.
was kind of made for a different audience, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. That's when I had to come to terms with myself, like this is meant for it's not meant
Or
to be serious at all.
yeah, it wasn't meant to be like technically a more mature what about a more mature version of like Teen Titans or any cartoon for that matter. But it's
Right.
just like it's a complete basically it's not even a reboot. I won't even count it as a reboot. It's basically just
Exactly.
using the same exact uh it's like using the same exact characters for a different purpose.
Yeah, like a spin-off in a way, even though it's with the same characters, is what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what they did to Powerpuff Girls as well, which I just find so I don't know. I like you said, I think it does cater to a certain type of audience, or maybe a more modern audience of younger age, maybe. But I when they said reboot, I was expecting like a literal like continuation, or at least like a redrawing or something of it, right?
Wish you can only wish you can only hope.
Yeah. But
It's weird
here's
because
yeah.
I haven't watched the Powerpuff Girls once, but I heard things about it.
Uh, I don't think I've watched like a full episode on it. I remember watching shorts on it on YouTube, right? And what I noticed is that they make it so to the modern world that I feel like they just lost their purpose of what they're supposed to be.
Oh, me, the things I've heard about it was the fact that like one of the producers or directors or even the writers,
Yeah,
I think,
yeah,
right? I can't remember which staff member, but one of the staff members basically
yeah.
has a self insert into the
Really?
Powerpuff Girls. So yeah, into the I'm pretty sure it's the newest one, into the rebooted one, and this and people had problems with it because this particular self inserted character
Uh-huh.
ends up like dating Blossom or something.
Dating Blossom?
Yeah, or something like that. Like I remember it was
Oh,
a
okay.
I remember like this it is basically self insert because the reason why it is you can definitely tell it's that writer. We know which writer it is. Like you can
Oh,
tell
I
based from like
see.
the drawing inside the
Yeah, yeah,
cartoon
yeah.
and also the
Yeah,
actual real life person.
yeah.
So the ones I've heard about it, like the ones where people was like, "Oh, this is a little bit creepy. This is a little bit of a problem," was that one.
That's a bit creepy to me because I remember even for me, like even when they introduced us the fourth sibling, I was just like, what the hell are you doing? Like, don't I don't know. I just feel like why would you do that? You know, right? They actually added a fourth sister, right?
What?
They added a fourth sister. You didn't know?
I don't know. What?
They added a fourth sister.
I have to Google this right now.
She's
Powerpuff Girls.
purple hair, dark skin.
Wait, what? No, no,
Welcome to my world.
no! Are you kidding me? How could they do this? I'm surprised they ever made this possible.
I told you, and I don't know if she's still there or not, but I remember some people were not happy about it. I don't know if
I
they
thought we
stopped
already had a fourth sister.
the what is it? The one that got into like a like how do I say it? The chemically imbalanced sister, right?
Yeah, the bunny or something, if I remember.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I thought that was the
yeah.
fourth
But
sister. What is this? What the fuck is this? What the fuck is Glistina, Francesca, Francia, Maram, Alicia, Utonium? What the fuck is that shit?
that's her name.
That's her name. That's her full name. Blistina,
Shit.
Francesca, Francia, Mariam, Alicia, Utonium.
This is not the self insert you're talking about, right? Because like
No, no,
this
no,
is
no, 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 no. I have never seen this character ever. When like, cause
yeah.
I've had
So they
because I've had the Powerpuff Girls like show recommended to me because I was like on a cartoon binge, right?
yeah, yeah,
I was like rewatching what was it? I was rewatching Dexter's Lab. I was watching
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what
I
got
did
the
too.
Fairly Odd Parents, right? And that was like
Yep,
recommended to me. Like someone mentioned
yeah,
it in my like recommended.
yeah.
I did never seen this character. How did they miss this character? How did they not talk about this? What was the
I
plot? What was it? Oh, yeah, sorry. The character was introduced as the older sister of the three original Powerpuff Girls, having been absent during all their lives because of running away when she lost control of her powers. She's portrayed as a teenager, so she's older than the other three, apparently.
yeah,
Being much taller and having wider
yeah,
hips than the
yeah.
Powerpuff Girls, in difference from the other three, she also has darker skin. The characters have been widely interpreted as being black and to a lesser degree Hispanic. So we're not even sure what she's supposed to cover. We're not even. She just has like darker skin. She's marketed as
I
the fourth Powerpuff Girl and was met with mixed reactions from fans and critics. I am not surprised.
right, right. So yeah, when they first like introduced her to the series, that's when I was just like, I don't know, maybe people will think I'm racist, I don't know, but it's not about the racy. If they had added a Chinese character inside of it too, I wouldn't like it either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
just it's just weird. Like it used to be the three of them only, and the fact that you backtrack the fact that she existed way before they did, it's even worse because it's
it's
like
even
the whole
weirder. Yeah,
the whole point of Powerpuff Girls in the first one in the first era anyway was the point that they were the special girls, right? They were the first special like powered girls, and then you're telling me that that they had an older sister years ago. Like, what are you?
what the
I
fuck
don't
is
know.
wrong with this reboot? What the fuck happened? Okay, so
But
apparently she's supposed to be 10 years old at most.
yeah, yeah.
But look at her. Look at her fucking design. She looks 14 or 15. She look like and you can even pass her as 18 based on the design if you let her. Like you can say that she's 18 years old. What the fuck is this design? Why does
Right.
she have wider hips? What the fuck is happening?
I that's why when they showed that when they showed her, I was just like, no, no. And honestly, if I were to add up, like if I were to add on, like one more thing that I found really disturbing or really annoying about the Powerpuff Girls now is that I noticed that maybe correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong, but with at least the shows or at least the clips that I've watched is that they never fight crimes as much as they do anymore.
What the fuck do they do then? Isn't that what literally they do every single episode?
Exactly. My point is that Powerpuff Girls was supposed to be they were fighting crimes while they also have their own like little
Like lives,
mission.
right? Yeah.
Right, right. But I think the recent one, I remember watching an episode where like they went to camp, like they went to space camp or something like that. The three of them went to space camp, and the whole entire episode was just about them in space camp. So it just I was like, where the fuck is the calling the mayor and like something's happening, the town is on fire or
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
because that's literally the what do you call it? That's like the the what do you call it? That's like the
The
how
epitome
they
of what
start,
they are.
right? That's kind of
Exactly.
how they always start. It's like there's a problem, someone's calling,
Exactly. And so
right?
to me when they made it like that, I was just like, I'm out. I'm sorry, I can't.
So what about Ito? What about the villains then? What about the like Mojo Jojo? What happened to
I I
him?
I
What did
think the
they?
villain I think the villains appear, but like I said, I don't think it's the main plots anymore. I think there was this one time they played a prank on Mojo Jojo or something like that, and
What
it's just
happened?
weird to me. I don't know. I don't know. This is why I tell you, like, reboots, you make or break the whole entire series,
Yeah, I
honestly.
mean,
But
so
but
what
would you
happened to
consider
Mojo
this as a reboot,
Jojo?
or
What
would you
happened to
consider this as,
him?
like you said, it's a different? Oh, I forgot about that.
Him. What about him? He was like the most memorable villain I've seen in cartoon. This guy was the creepiest motherfucker.
Scared the fuck out of me when I was a kid. Yep. And the way he talks, my god.
Yeah, the way he talks and like,
But yeah, that's basically like yeah, that's Powerpuff Girls for you. That's what I don't like. That they kind of erase the idea of superpower heroes from the whole aspect of what Powerpuff Girls were. I just felt like it was just weird and it didn't really cater to my audience anymore, I feel. But I think like going back to Teen Titans first, I just want to
uh,
clarify this, okay?
uh-huh,
One of the reasons why I kind of dislike Teen Titans Go, in my own opinion, is
yeah.
that they fucking butchered the character that is Robin. They
Oh yeah, they made him like
horrendously,
silly and almost like
they horrendously destroyed his what is that called? What is the saying?
this
What is it
character
called?
essentially.
It's in Chinese we call it 连续, is it?
Didn't she?
Like they destroyed his what's the word for it? Oh my god. Another word for dignity. Basically they destroyed his whole idea of like a leader, a responsible leader, a hardworking person. No, they make him like what? A starfire crazed, obsessed, controller freak.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, that bit, yeah, I understand from that one. Because I've
And
seen the episode. Yeah,
he's become the butt of the joke for almost all
yeah.
episodes, right?
It used to be Beast Boy for the most part, but then like,
Exactly. I don't know. It just to me when I saw him that way, I was just like, this is not the Robin that I fell in love with.
now that I think of it honestly, yeah, the problem with the show, like the new Teen Titans reboot, is that it shouldn't be a Teen Titans reboot. Because you can stick
What do you mean?
those, like you can stick those very same like characters,
Like, yep, yep,
like
yep,
personality traits. Sorry, like you can stick
yep,
those very same personality traits
yep.
onto another character, and I think it'll be fine.
Oh, I agree. I agree. That's why to me the whole idea of like reboots sometimes I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do. Like are they just trying to make fast money but or are they just trying to claim the title or claim the characters but pandering it to a different like plot or a different style
I don't know, because
or
here's the thing. So when it comes to the Teen Titans thing, right? So Teen
mm,
Titans is owned by DC and as well as like Cartoon Network, right?
yep, yep, yep.
So the Cartoon Network's version is not canon in the DC universe. Right? It's like something that they made themselves,
Yep, yep, yep. I agree.
right?
Yes.
Because
That's how it sounds
so
like it.
basically all the plot with Terra, Deathstroke, right?
Yep. Yep.
All of that is Cartoon Network, and even to some degree, I think Cartoon Network, the original Cartoon Network version, kind of had like basically their own story, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah. Because I remember researching it out, like the Teen Titans that I like, which was the Cartoon Network one. Like it really
uh,
had little exposure. Like whenever they mentioned it in DC, it was a whole different set or like a whole universe, a whole different universe of Teen Titans. It wasn't the Cartoon Network Teen Titans that we know of, you know.
yeah, exactly. So it's kind of weird that the reason, like, there was absolutely no reason to reboot the show the way this they did, because you could
Yeah.
make an entirely new show with new characters that's not even connected to the Teen Titans universe,
Yep.
and I think anyone would be fine. Everyone would have been fine.
Yep.
Like everyone would just be like, yeah, this is a good show, this is funny, whatever. But they had to stick the Teen Titans in.
Like I said, it might have been because of the name. It might have been because of the hype. It could also just have been just maybe giving them the benefit of the doubt. They just wanted to make it like another peek into the normal lives of Teen Titans where they don't fight crimes. They don't fight crimes either, right? In Teen
Yeah, they
Titans, there
don't
was
do
no
that
like.
either here.
That's
Exactly.
my point. That's my fucking
There,
point.
there's not like even the villains to some degree became like friends.
Yeah, it's like it's more of like a back it's more of like a behind the scenes of the series that's happening that we expect, that we want to watch.
Yeah,
That's the saddest part.
I don't know why it has to exist. This reboot or all reboots for that matter didn't need to exist. They could have just
Exactly.
made an entirely new show and it would have been fine.
Exactly. But I would have to say though, like there are some good. I think you could say there are some good reboots in a way. For example, I think DuckTales is still good if I'm not wrong. Like I
The
don't have.
DuckTales one?
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, they remastered DuckTales, right? They even remastered some like no, I don't know if they kept the same thing, but they made like Disney shorts again, like Mickey Mouse shorts, And I've
Oh, they
watched a few
did?
episodes. Yeah, I did. I think on
Any
YouTube,
good?
if I'm not wrong. It's okay. It's pretty funny too, and it's not like for me. The humor is not something that like is foreign to me. It still relates in a way. And DuckTales, I haven't heard of it, but I also know that Samurai Jack was also recently remastered. If you don't know.
Are you talking about the Netflix one?
No, what do you mean? Like there's a live action Samurai Jack.
No. Cause oh sorry, not Netflix, my bad. The
Adult Swim, right?
Adult Swim, yes, I'm talking about
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was talking about that one, as in like they kind of made Samurai Jack like the modern version, right? Like
I don't think it's a reboot,
with the
more
art.
like just a continuation, I think, for that one. I don't
Oh,
count that as a reboot.
okay. Then that's not a reboot. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because this
So that
one,
means
because they basically continue the story from like the previous, uh, what I'll call it, Samurai Jack story, all the way from like season 6, I
oh,
think,
that's good. That's good then. That's
or
good.
season. Oh, sorry. They had originally 4 seasons in the original Cartoon Network,
Mm.
right? The original show. They had like
Yeah,
four
I remember.
seasons,
Yep,
and they
yep.
got cut off somewhere along the path, like somewhere along the way.
Mm-hmm.
It was cut off, and then Adult Swim basically made a new season like 13 years after or 12 years after. So it's no
Yep.
longer owned by Cartoon Network at that point. But I think it was still developed by the same people. I think it was Gendy Tartakovsky. I think is his name.
Oh, that's good. At
Yeah, yeah.
least at least the originals they were there. They're still there to kind of like make it kind of make it still homely for the old watchers, right?
Mm. Because like I
Yeah.
think somewhere along the way in the fourth season, like both Tartakovsky and Cartoon Network was like, we're not sure whether they wanted to continue the show.
Mm.
And so the ending of season 4 was like super open ended. It's like there was nothing happening essentially.
Yep. Yep. This is what
Uh,
I wanted for Teen Titans. I wanted a closure for Teen Titans because you know, if I'm not wrong, they were actually supposed to make an arc for Starfire because they had 5 seasons, right? And each season, sorry, I think each season had like specific characters like
Arc.
main story, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
main
yeah.
arc, and they didn't make one for Starfire, and so I think what they did was to kind of like compensate for it. They made the Teen Titan Goes to Tokyo, which is like, uh, okay, I guess.
I mean, didn't they do the well, it's technically not an arc yet. Like it's just a short, like the one where
The one with the
Starfire goes
sister,
into
right?
the huh?
The one with the sister, is it?
No, the one where yeah, the one with the sister, and also a little bit with like the future one, because I think that was like
Oh, yeah, the future one. You're
the
right.
future episode was like yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty emotional too in a way.
Mm.
That was sad when I watched it when I was a kid. But yeah, they didn't have like an arc for her specifically. I think the arc was supposed to be with her and her sister again, if I'm not wrong. But
Yeah,
they
she had that like I'm not sure whether it was like one episode or multiple episodes, but it was the one with the
with the
sister
sister.
and she was gonna get like married off or something.
Yeah, first was that she was gonna she was gonna get arrested in place of her sister because her sister like gave her like the diamond that she stole, the jewel that she
Yeah,
stole.
the jewel that she stole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that she broke free and then she said, you're gonna get married to the whatever, right?
Mm.
Something like that. But they butchered that as well in Teen Titans Go because I
Did
remember the
they?
sister had
Wait, they
yeah,
demand they what?
the sister apparently had kids or something, and then the sister asked Starfire to babysit the babies, and then
What
the
the
babies were
fuck?
slimes. And in my head, I'm just like, I will pretend like I never see that, and I've never seen that, and I'll pretend like it never happened.
I mean, that's a fair thing to
Like
do.
it's not canon whatsoever. I don't want to. I don't want to think about it. You know.